Next on Reboot Your Life.
From leading lady and scream queen to self-creation expert, E.T. actress Dee Wallace shows how she found the light. Plus, a Tampa real estate king offers free financial literacy advice to our veterans.
From Riverside Recovery, it's Reboot Your Life. Experience the ultimate reboot of your journey. Start anew and rediscover you. Transform your story. Rewrite your life. It's Reboot Your Life with Cary Harrison and Ashley Neal.
And from the Riverside Recovery Studios in Tampa, Florida, Cary Harrison with you, and thanks for listening to Reboot Your Life, where we help you get back the life you love through life hacks for recovery, resilience, battling addiction, expert advice, and stories of our human experience. Well, you know, almost every generation has grown up with our next guest. She's known as an Emmy-nominated actress with an impressive career spanning 5 series and over 250 films, from E.T. to TV movie credits. We're talking about Dee Wallace, respected authority on the art of self-creation for over 30 years, gracing international stages as a sought-after speaker, from TED Talks to the Love and Harmony Forum in Japan. You may have seen her recently in the reboot of Fatal Attraction, or seen her book Born, about how spirituality, brain science, and religion are all teaching the same principles and how you can easily use them in creating your life. Dee Wallace, we want to welcome you to Reboot Your Life.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Well, Dee, you had a starring role as the mother on E.T., one of the most widely watched movies in human history, even unhuman history. How did E.T. symbolize the principles of creation, as many of us were taught in our early spiritual lives?
In a very simple way. And creation really is simple. So E.T. got stuck, like we all do. E.T. knew he wanted to get back home to where he was powerful and loved and real. And he had a clear intention. He kept his heart open, because love is the greatest tool we have to create with. It is a force. And he trusted the universe through the kids to help him achieve his very clear goal, and he got there.
And you're an author, many book author, and children's books is part of your beat. So you go not only from the spiritual side of things to self-improvement, to resilience, et cetera, but you also focus on children. Interesting that E.T. just happened to be, you happen to get cast that way, but you get that this next generation of grass growing are going to end up being our trees and our woods and the air we breathe. What's the special alchemy there to connect with them? Because a lot of people just say, shut up and sit in the corner. But there's more.
Which is one of the worst things you can do to a kid. Because brain science will tell you that our brains and our self-esteem, the way we see ourselves in the world, how we see the world seeing us, and how we see ourselves, locked in to our brains by 8 years old. So whatever you're taught verbally or whatever is modeled before you, your childhood brain says that's the way the world works. And what happens then is we create these belief systems. And as the good book says, as you believe, it is delivered to you. We create them by 8 years old. And then we spend our lives building on many, many false beliefs that we believe is true. And then we wonder why we can't shift our brains quickly to create the things we want. And that's why my work is called conscious creation, because most of us are creating unconsciously.
When you were working with Steven Spielberg doing E.T., here's a guy in a grown man's body who's like 14. We love that, admire that, need more of that. I'll bet you that kind of unleashed this appetite that you had that probably wasn't mainstream quite yet. Now you've helped make it mainstream, that we're allowed to talk about brain science. We're allowed to talk about how we feel, what we see, what we think. But I think that experience probably opened some doors for you into this world.
Well, it certainly opened doors for me as an actress. And the more doors opened to me as an actress, the more wonderful interviews like this I got to do and could talk about more important things, and it's an interesting word you use. We're allowed to talk about it now. We create what we're allowed. And I think we're seeing that a lot in our world today. The very first principle of creation is you have to know what you want.
Mhm.
You've got to be clear about what you want. And most of us are still waiting for someone else to tell us what we want or what we should create or give us permission to ask, because so many of us said, we're told, sit down, shut up, children should be seen and not heard. And now we're going, why can't I ask for what I want? And we have to retrain ourselves and write our story that we want now.
Dee Wallace, I remember English class. Who doesn't remember English? Well, a lot of people don't remember English class on purpose.
I taught English, so I do.
Yes, you do. And I remember, you need to be the captain of your own ship. You need to manifest what you want. I mean, these were all sort of ancient lessons going back to Pliny and ancient Greece, or even the great Henry David Thoreau sitting around Walden Pond and all of these sort of early philosophical thinkers. And then later in life, we're told, but you really need to be a team player. That's really what you need to do, is just take orders, punch in, punch out on time. And you're helping us reimagine what we could be. And what we could be, there's probably a natural capability and talent that each of us have. And if we're in alignment with that, we could be superstars.
Absolutely. All of us, everybody. But you have to decide, do I want to keep telling their story, or do I want to write my story the way I want it? People don't understand the concept that you can choose what thought you want. You can choose how to feel. You can choose what to believe. Indeed, nobody else can do that for us on this plane, which makes us the creators of ourselves on this plane. We were put here to practice free will. And you can't practice free will if you're looking to a political leader or even a religious leader or a parent to tell you who you are, what your strengths are. No, we've heard it all our lives. Peter Pan, think happy thoughts and you fly. Wizard of Oz, you had the power all along, Dorothy.
Mm.
What do you want? What do you want to think? What do you want to feel? Because every feeling and thought we have shoots out an electrical signal. That's why they measure our hearts with electrocardiograms and our brains with electroencephalograms. So here we are shooting out the same signals over and over and over and over again. Let's say you're shooting out the signal, I'm not good enough. That goes out into a universe that's electromagnetic. So the universe is going, I have to match it. I have to match it. There's the match, shoots it back to us and keeps reinforcing, I'm not good enough, until we go, you know what? That thought isn't going to give me what I want. What thought is going to get? I am good enough. I'm smart. What excites me? I'm going to go do that.
And as you say, that thought's going to get you totally what you don't want, and then reinforce low self-esteem. And then you become a guy who really has low self-esteem and you can maybe never get out of it. We're talking.
Yeah, we call it karma.
Yes, right. And then there's neuroplasticity, which is, and we are all familiar with this now to some degree, where the brain sort of hardwires itself to whatever you're doing or thinking. And if you're having repetitious thoughts, exactly as you say, Dee Wallace, then the brain will start to hardwire itself into that person that you wish to become. And you actually can.
But you have to live
Captain Ahab
consciously.
here.
You have to live consciously to do that. You
We're
have
talking.
to be able in the moment to go, whoa, oh my God, I just thought a really limiting thought there. That's not going to get me what I want. Let me pick a thought that'll get me what I want. And the more consciously you can do that and then hook it up with love and excitement, the faster your life shifts around. And I work with people all over the world. It's miraculous to watch the ease of it when you begin living consciously. And I write out the formula in Born because it is a formula. And once you know the formula, you apply that to any creation that you want to bring into your life.
Speaking of which, Born, Emmy-nominated actress Dee Wallace with over 250 films from E.T. to TV credits. She's given TED Talks on self-creation, author of Born, which she just mentioned, about spirituality, brain science, and religion. And her weekly call-in radio shows clocked over 500 episodes. And she deals with the transformative power of love and self-actualization. And like her title character in E.T., she teaches us how to truly get back home. You can follow Dee on social media at the Dee Wallace. And let's talk a little bit about love, because that's a central theme in Born and just in your general discussions. Why is love a fundamental element in achieving our desires?
Well, in religious terms, the first thing you're taught about God is love. So love is creation. And we all know that when we get angry, fearful, unsure of ourselves, judgmental, we hit a wall that creates an emotional block for us to expand out. Not so with love. When you go into love, you move into all possibilities. And, you know, I'm a clairaudient channel, and my channel says all the time, every day, love, go to love. You want to create anything, love it more. Whatever you want, love it more, because love is literally creation.
And you get to bathe in a brain full of oxytocin, which is one of the most delightful things anyone can have, the in-love hormone. And people who've experienced it, you're just kind of insane with happiness and joy. And you can create that yourself. And we know this is
Absolutely.
True because you're an example of it, by the way. You're the walking version of, look, it really works, as opposed to, let me just tell you what to do. You're actually doing it.
I am. I have an amazing life. I created a daughter. Six specialists told me I would never be able to conceive a child. I said, God and I have a different plan. Thank you very much. I created E.T. this way. I knew what I wanted, and I felt love around it and excitement around it. And literally within 3 months, Steven Spielberg called and offered me E.T. I have so many experiences in health, in money, in career, and success of my own and of so many clients that I work with. And it's our freedom, guys. It's our freedom. So if you're looking to anyone to tell you how to think and what to believe, you're looking in the wrong place, because everything that you create begins within you. You're that magnificent.
I'm still waiting for my call from Steven Spielberg, but maybe he lost my number. We'll find out someday, won't we?
Well, maybe you should send it to him then.
Yes, definitely. Okay.
Just saying.
I'll name drop.
Hey, I just wrote a letter to Dick Wolf. I love everything that Dick Wolf does. He does all the FBI's and the Law and Orders.
Yeah.
And I said, Mr. Wolf, I know people of my stature don't usually write you, but I want to work for you. Now, you got to ask to receive. That's also in the good book. That's also brain science. You've got to ask for, if a kid, if you say, what do you want for Christmas, honey? And he goes, I don't care, mommy, bring me anything. Tell Santa to bring me anything. No, that's not going to work because then mommy and daddy don't know how to help Santa. And the universe works exactly the same way.
You know, you're exactly right. They say if you don't put your hand out, it doesn't get shaken. And people who are, desperate and dateless, sitting around at home every night, wondering, why am I sitting here alone? Why does nobody love me? Why does nobody want to date me? Well, maybe you should walk outside where the live mammals are roaming around upright, also looking for someone to meet and date. But they can't do anything about you if they don't know anything about you. So
That's
part
right.
of this human adventure is to suit up and show up, right?
You bet. You bet. And I would suggest to anyone out there that relates to what you just said to ask yourself, do I want to be with me?
Ooh.
How much do I love me? Because how much you love and respect yourself, when you shift what is within you, all energy around you must shift. That's also brain science. So look within and love yourself more, love yourself more, love yourself more.
Why do you suppose we're all so afraid to ask for what we want? I mean, it seems easy enough to say the sentence, but really, I think people are afraid to ask for what they want.
Well, let's go back to conception through 8 years old. I don't think there's anybody out there in your audience right now that was told, you're amazing, you're magnificent, you are so powerful, you can have anything you want. Go through life and say, I want to create this, I'm getting that, I want to do this with you. You're powerful, honey. Just go out there and get everything you want in life. I certainly wasn't, and I was raised in a pretty loving, open, creative home. And yet society, religion, we have been taught for eons and eons, pretty much since poor Eve took the darn apple off the tree, to pull ourselves back and make ourselves smaller and be humble, and God and everybody else is going to love us a lot more.
And we're also told that it's selfish to focus so much on what you want, because it's going to take away from everyone else, which means there's a limited supply. We just don't know how much it is, but it's a limited supply. Is it a limited supply?
Never, unless you believe there is. That's the rule that supersedes everything. If you want to see the blocks you're hitting in your life, the walls, go back and look at your belief systems that you have had pretty much most of your life. Like, my father was a severe alcoholic. I witnessed my entire life my mother taking care of him. We lived with my grandparents. Grandpa had strokes. Grandma took care of him. So in my little D brain, women take care of men. That's the way the world works. And it took me a lot of relationships until I woke up and said, oh my God, that's really not the belief I want. And that's not the belief I have to have. And that's not the experience I have to have. What do I want? I want an equal relationship where both people are complete within themselves and we come together in completeness and support each other. That's what I want.
That sounds good to me. My father also was an alcoholic, died of acute alcoholism right in front of me. So I sort of had to raise myself kind of like a wolf, Amala and Kamala, if I remember from social studies or whatever it was. And not really having the rudder to know, do you have a partner? Are they better? Are they worse? Are you better or worse? Never really knowing, bouncing around. And it took a lot of growing up and sort of mimicking, which was kind of my little secret here. I just found people that I thought had it together and I would imitate them. And then pretty soon it starts to get into your own behavior. And I think that's what we like mentors. We like people who seem to have it together because they can be our guides. We can grow up sort of in their footsteps.
Yes, if you choose the correct mentor.
Mm.
Therein lies the rub, eh?
Yeah. And if your picker is broken, have a nice day. That could take years.
Well, and it's so easy too. You can sit back and watch what's going on and ask yourself, does that line up with love? Does what they're saying line up with love? Do their actions line up with love? And if they don't, walk away.
There's a rise in suicides that we see going on right now. This is a little bit of a dip in the joy of the conversation of the moment, but it is part of people's reality too. Not everyone is in a great mood listening or watching right now. How to recover and move on in your life with suicides happening. Dee, you've lived through many colleagues and family suicides.
Yeah, 2 in my own family, my father and my younger brother. All I can tell you is pretty much every death is a suicide. Every death on the soul level is a choice to leave. For me, suicide is when people lose the ability to know that they are the creators of themselves. And so they feel powerless and sad and angry. And until they're able and willing to understand and regain their own personal power in their lives, they're kind of lost. And
Can you recount finally a memorable instance where your guidance has helped manifest someone else's aspirations?
where my guidance, oh my goodness.
Yeah, yours.
Yeah,
You.
my certainly my daughter. I know how much of an influence I am. All my clients that call in every Sunday morning, when I do private sessions, the thing I hear the most is, "Oh my God, Dee, I've been in therapy for 20 years. Nobody ever put this together for me. I'm not doing it. The channel through me is doing it, and I'm very happy to be the go-between that brings everybody together." When you really go, all right, I'm gonna accept my power. I am the creator of me. That's the beginning of your freedom out of pain and sorrow and feeling like you have no justification in this world. According to my channel, we all pick our parents and our families that we're born into, usually to learn what we don't want. So I say, thank your mom, thank your dad, whatever you went through with them, thank them, because they showed you a powerful lesson that you don't want, so that you now in this moment are very clear about what you do want.
And Dee Wallace, you're a living example of somebody who gets to go to work, while a lot of other people we all have to go to work, but you get to go to work, and other people can get to go to work too once they decide, as you point out, what kind of work that is for them. So it does take a little bit of discipline, and people can reach out to you too and find out more, learn more, and reboot their lives the Dee Wallace way. So I'm so glad you joined us today.
Oh, it's my great pleasure. Anytime I can share this, I'm there.
And it's good to see you again. It's been a few years and you haven't changed, not even one molecule.
Oh, so, I love you. I love you so much for that. Thank you. It's all me. No work yet.
We've been talking to Emmy-nominated actress Dee Wallace with over 250 films from E.T. to TV credits, given TED Talks on self-creation. She's the author of Born, about spirituality, brain science, and religion, and her weekly call-in radio show with over 500 episodes. She deals with the transformative power of love and self-actualization. And like her character in E.T., she teaches us how to truly get back home, which is what we learned how to do today. You can follow Dee on social media at the Dee Wallace. Cary Harrison with you, and this is Reboot Your Life.
Your reboot reboots in a moment.
You can tweet us anytime on X at Reboot Your Life.
Riverside Recovery of Tampa was created to offer state-of-the-art treatment options to people suffering from addiction. The model was developed to meet clients and their families where they are at and provide them with the tools and education needed so that they can achieve long-term recovery. No two people are the same, and no two people have the same experience with addiction. And it is for this reason that we tailor each treatment plan to the unique needs of each individual. Located alongside the Hillsborough River in the heart of Tampa, Riverside Recovery offers the full continuum of care. And what that means is that we offer medical detoxification, residential care, day treatment, intensive outpatient, and outpatient levels of care. The program at Riverside is focused on high-quality clinical care offered in a safe, comfortable, and serene environment where everyone feels empowered to change the course of their lives. The stigma that surrounds addiction continues to be high on the list of reasons that people do not seek help. At Riverside Recovery, we are working to change the narrative and empower people to recognize addiction as a disease, not a moral failing. We can recover, and we do, as evidenced by the thousands of people who have taken that courageous first step and asking for help. The staff at Riverside understand what it's like to recover. In fact, over 75% of our staff are in long-term recovery. If you or someone you know needs help and are ready to seek treatment, call Riverside Recovery of Tampa at 1-800-871-5440. That's 800-871-5440. You can learn more about the treatment we provide at rrtampa.com. Again, that's rrtampa.com.
Life 2.0. It's your life and your reboot. It's Reboot Your Life with Cary Harrison and Ashley Neal.
And from the Riverside Recovery Studios in Tampa, Florida, Cary Harrison here along with Ashley Neal. And thanks for listening to Reboot Your Life, where we help you get back the life you love. Our next guest asked the question, have you been living someone else's version of the American dream? Well, he believes that many, especially our veterans, are trapped in conventional financial mindsets that limit their true potential. Well, actually, it's all of us now, isn't it? And for our veterans, though, who have served to protect our freedoms, gaining financial independence, well, that's going to be a crucial next step. And it's time for Financial Literacy 101. And that's what we're going to do right now. People who have been in and out of society, whether in recovery or on active duty, many of us simply don't have the financial literacy, which is all part of being out there in the real world. Dutch Mendenhall has his own story of overcoming personal and financial struggles, of becoming a leader in financial independence, and is author of Money Shackles, the Breakout Guide to Alternative Investing. And he feels veterans can lead a life of wealth and abundance beyond the battlefield, ensuring that the sacrifices made in service translate into lasting security and prosperity. Dutch Mendenhall, we want to welcome you to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it, Cary. I'm about to have some fun with you.
Count me in. I'll take a double, as a matter of fact. I know you just actually stepped out of a veteran's hootenanny or confabulation. You were just in visiting in California and other places. So this is kind of a perfect dovetail into this, especially for veterans who may be looking to redefine their financial futures.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot to be said there, right? It's always the next step in their journey, right? Every veteran, but every single American, right, has a financial journey that they're on, and it changes, right? When they're serving, it's one type of journey, one type of battle, one type of mission they're on, but then their life restarts, right? And they're going back to a household that has been run by someone, in their family, and then now they've got to come back into life. And reality is, I mean, I'm a Tampa man myself, right? And it's one of the greatest veteran communities in America. And, I'm here in Fort Bragg today, and I'm just really blessed. My own brother served 33 plus years, and I grew up as a kid always being told, like, you better be successful because your brother is out there giving you freedom. Your brother's out there giving you, this life. And I took that to heart, but it took me a while to understand the journey, right? At 18, I had my first car repossessed. 22, I had another car repossessed. And, somehow, at 30 years old, I was successful and made a lot of money, but I didn't have wealth. And by 40 years old, I've built a $250 million portfolio. And so, I'm a real estate investor at my core, but I'm all about seeing others as a thought leader and an educator in real estate and finance and wealth, and seeing them break the shackles of the traditional American society.
Well, and you are considered a thought leader and certainly at the top of your field, which is why it's great to have you on here today to be able to talk and give just some basic financial literacy to many of us who think that, well, if I just hire someone at H&R Block, they're going to make it all better for me. That's kind of later on in the game to do that part. But it's really the upfront part that most of us are not taught in school, frankly. We might be taught geography, science, drama class. But you're a guy with gumption who actually went out and did the thing, in a way, maybe even competing with your brother who is out serving, but you're also serving to help others learn what you have learned and share those top secrets, because they kind of are, because again, we're not taught them in school. What role do you believe financial literacy is going to play in a veteran reintegration into civilian life? Many coming back, many leaving. How can alternative investment strategies be a part of that?
Well, I mean, it starts right with education. And like you said, it's not taught in school. Like our freedom charts get into these topics very specifically, right? When we say H&R Block, I'm not critical of H&R Block. It's more of like financial advisors who've never been wealthy shouldn't be the ones telling you how to build wealth, right? Shouldn't be the ones telling you how to be an investor, right? It doesn't make any sense. And what I got frustrated with was when I finished coaching college baseball, I just got frustrated with being poor. And I began the hard journey, the learning journey of how to make money, how to build wealth, but also, right, what do I do with my money and what do I do with wealth as I was there? And what I really was challenged with was all the people that gave bad information, all the people that would say A and B, and then you go out and implement it in the world and it's done by C and D. And reality is it's not a secret, but it's something that isn't taught. It isn't there. Like our freedom charts start people with lifestyle. And they teach people the difference between income and expenses, but also, you talk about taxes, and you shouldn't pay the amount of taxes that you pay. There's a right amount that you pay. But if you understand the process, you can set yourself up for a lifetime where you're not dependent on the man, you're not dependent on somebody else, you're not dependent on the next, job or the next catastrophe. I've met so many people that have money, that have income, that have done exceptional things in their life, but they're still one financial disaster away from complete stress, complete survival mode.
Yeah, and that does speak to tens of millions of people in this country who are one paycheck away from ending up on the sidewalk. As many of our veterans, having lived in Los Angeles, we found that over 25% of the 80,000, that is the known homeless people. Really, there are 140,000, but 80,000 are on the books as being officially homeless. A full 25% were veterans who came back, and there really was no place for them to go, and they didn't have any particular skill sets beyond what they might have learned at 18, 19, 20 in boot camp and beyond. So much of this is upskilling and reintegration, and to have basic financial prowess to be able to navigate the uncertain shoals of the future is a huge way to give someone power, to self-empower, and to be a real contributor to society. Maybe you could expand on how veterans can leverage their unique skills and their experiences to excel in the field of finance, of making themselves whole.
Being a part of the planning meetings for several nonprofit veterans organizations, what you find is that for most veterans, it's they have to have a specific target, a specific goal. If they have a mission that is in front of them that they can go accomplish, they're going to go accomplish that mission, right? And there's a balancing act, right? Us in society, what I would call us laymen, right? And when veterans come back, have to have some patience, and veterans have to have a little bit of patience to be able to come together to do the incredible things. Like when they have Mission Central and they know what they need to go accomplish, they will get it done. They will accomplish it. Like there are men who've had to act incredible, right? And be able to be violent in the protection of our nation. And the reality is when they come back to society, right, it's a different type of stress. It's a different type of tension that they have in their lives. And the last thing that they need is to worry about money. The last thing they need is to have that concern. It creates marital stress. It creates career stress, right? The reality is we need to help our veterans set up their American dream and allow them to start working towards their dream and and be on mission, right? But if they follow the steps, if they follow the protocols, we can get them on mission, relieve some of that financial concern, financial worry. Reality is, who hasn't wanted to be a real estate investor in their life? Who hasn't wanted to take a piece of asset and call it theirs? Who hasn't wanted that to be a part of their future as an American?
We're talking to Dutch Mendenhall. He's a husband, a father, an American patriot, a gifted visionary. He leads by example and doesn't believe in quitting. Dutch turned his strengths from a career coaching baseball toward consulting in the real estate industry and has since become a well-thought-out thought leader and well thought of even. He focuses on helping vets and those in and out of the military, combining the science of advanced analytics with new age artificial intelligence. We can't pretend that's going away. It is now everything in the future. An algorithmic, well, it's either a nightmare or a flood. It depends how you approach it. And the key here today is to help you understand how to navigate all of that. He balances the field so it's available to all of us. And Dutch Mendenhall, appreciate very much your coming on and giving us this like basic financial literacy here. Many veterans face the challenge of adjusting to a civilian financial mindset. I mean, imagine you spend years having zero to do with that, where your meals are handled. They tell you when and where to eat, when to sleep, when to get up. Suddenly you're in a civilian world, which is just, when do we watch Netflix? Does the dog need to eat? Wow. I mean, that can be a big deal for people. What are the common pitfalls that you've observed and how they can be avoided?
Oh man, they're bad investments, right? Bad information. I think number one, they've got to start gaining knowledge, and they have to have the right information and the right tools to go be successful, right? In my book, Money Shackles, we go through step-by-step due diligence is to make sure people are going to go be successful. For example, AI, right? You were just talking about AI. It is the common term. Like a few years ago, crypto, right, was the common term. And now AI is this hot thing, and everybody's looking for money or looking for financial investment in AI. But if you don't know what a unicorn is, which is something that's never existed before and never been successful, that's not something you should invest in. But there are AI companies that have existed that have products that have reality of business that you could go invest into and you could make money. That's part of our book is fractionalized ownership, right? There's an industry called the Regulation A industry that started in 2012 during Obama's information from the Jobs Act, and you could own a piece of a beachfront property. You could own a piece of a company or a business for very little amount of money, for $50, $500, $1,000, $100,000. You can become a fractionalized owner, and you can diversify in a very specialized way. And so, at my core, I'm a real estate investor, so I love it for bringing people together so that we can do more together than we could ever do separate. And that's a big part of the American dream. So for veterans, they have to know they're not alone in this journey, and there is a process they can follow to go be successful and in the next phase, the next mission of their life.
I wonder, Dutch Mendenhall, given the risks associated with any investment, we all know about that, including alternative ones, what advice would you give to veterans who are going to be more risk averse? Well, basically due to their experiences.
Yeah, I mean, my number one piece of advice, right? Be patient with yourself, right? You have to start the beginning of the journey and know that the first step is the first step. And no matter what you're going through, no matter what challenges you're facing financially, put the one foot in front of the other, right? For us at our journey with our event, like we've invited veterans to come on our dime to be a part of it. People pay $500, people pay $1,500 for VIP to come be a part of our event. I've invited all veterans to come to it because I want to see them, right, have what they deserve, right? And what they deserve is everything. They deserve the freedom. They deserve America to respect them. They deserve the dignity of being successful here in America. And that's what our veterans deserve. And that's also what every American deserves, right? Americans deserve to be able to take control of their destinies, take control of their futures, not let someone else determine it, not let a broken system determine it, right? There is the founders of our country, and I know this is important to you too, Cary. The founders of our country laid out a set of rules that exist from a finance standpoint, from an investment standpoint, from a money standpoint, right? And the people with the most money in the world know there's a code and there's a system behind it. And they created it so they could control the code and control the system. But if you have the key, if you have the roadmap behind it, then you can follow the GPS and know that you're taking the right steps to get there.
That is so true. It's interesting you talk about the ancestors. My family came over on the Mayflower, one of many in this country. And on my mother's side, now my father's side, they signed the Declaration of Independence and then also were framers of the Constitution. And one of the things that I learned about the Mayflower Compact, signed in 1620, the seat of American democracy, one man, one vote, it happened when the Mayflower encountered pirates. Pirates! In the Atlantic. Who knew? And pirates had figured out something very smart. Remember, the pirates were Englishmen trying to rob the king's gold off his own ships. They didn't know that we were a bunch of bums coming across trying to escape. Didn't have any gold, maybe a couple of goats. I don't know what was on there. Nothing anybody would want. But the pirates took them over. And what the Pilgrims had learned from the pirates is that whenever the pirate would go and steal gold and go bury it somewhere, it was an exact same amount given to the captain as to the guy swabbing the deck as to the cook. Now, why would you do that? It's about survival. So if the captain got more of the gold, the cook might put something, shall we say, poisonous in the captain's food. And there goes the captain. And so they realized they had to have pure democracy and equality, except the captain would navigate, make the critical decisions that way, but they were all complete equals on the ship. That was the spirit of the new America, one man, one vote, and the spirit of a real democracy and equality. And that's what you're talking about, Dutch Mendenhall, is a level playing field for all of us, no matter how we've served, no matter who we are. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, in America, right, the system has accredited and non-accredited investors, which I believe is unconstitutional, right? And it's a systematic process of feeding the wealthy. But it's not a gatekeeping where no one can get the key and unlock the gate. They can unlock the gate, they can walk through, and they can join, right, people that have abundance. And there is plenty of money and abundance out there. The 1% own 95+% of all money in America. And so there is more than enough money for all of us if you understand how to unlock the gate and walk through. But after your last analogy, I'm picturing a poker table with a goat, a captain, a cook, and a boat sitting at a table. So, but we've all got to take action.
You're close. You're close. You know, military training and discipline, I never had it because I just was born at a time where I was never called into duty or anything. But I have so many friends who are Marines, who are Navy SEALs, Black Ops, that reported directly to JSOC. I mean, really high-functioning people, probably like your brother, Dutch Mendenhall. And they have a kind of training and discipline that has influenced the way they look at the world. I would imagine having that as the base, when you give them these financial literacy tools, they can really be rock stars.
Yeah, I mean, my own brother, right, joined our company, joined Rad Companies a few years ago. And, you know, he's their director of special operations. And, you know, anything that's difficult, anything that's challenging, anything that's hard, anything we don't have figured out, right, he goes and attacks it. And he attacks it with intention, attacks it with integrity. He attacks it with just the way you would want anyone in your business to approach any matter that needs to be handled that is important. And I think our veterans, when you take a look at money, it's important to them. It's important to all of us as Americans. And so, you know, when something's important, you need to know the right steps, the right process to make sure you take care of it and handle it. And then you can move on to the next part of your journey.
I wonder, Dutch Mendenhall, you deal with so many different people from different walks of life. There's probably a common denominator or something that you see with most of us live humans here in America. What are the soft spots where we all need to really understand what's going on? Again, we're not educated in this, so we tend to just kind of go with the cool, sparkly commercials on TV, throw money at this and that because we hear about it. We don't know what it is, but we hear it's good, and we just jump on it. That's maybe not the right way to go.
Well, I mean, Wall Street, the stock market, right, is a control mechanism that creates codependency for people, right? It's like gambling. And for me, the alternative investment industry, right, is something that is available to you. You don't have to worry about what Biden or Trump is doing this week to affect your stock price. You don't have to worry about high interest rates affecting, you know, your investments and your deals. And so there is an alternative industry. There's a whole arena, a whole area, right, that the wealthy have known about for generations and generations that now is open to everyday Americans. And it makes a huge difference, right? If you can have the ability to invest as a venture capitalist and get a 10x, a 99x, a 1,000x return, if you can have the ability to invest in a piece of real estate and get all the benefits that come with investing into real estate, but you're not having to take all your money and take all your risk into just one place, that's scary, right? And a lot of people will find something good and then they'll go all in on it. And then they end up with financial ruin because that thing maybe didn't work out, right? When you're making investments, there are ones that are going to work out and there are ones that aren't going to do as well. But by not investing, your money is losing money every single day. We're in a world of inflation right now, right? We were in hyperinflation last year. We're in inflation now. But the reality is if you can't control that, you can't control interest rates. You can't control the presidents or the people running for office. You can't control what Musk or Bezos or Gates does. All you can do is know that you can control your financial destiny by taking the right step-by-step process that we know works, that unlocks the code.
Yeah, we've got, interest at about 3.5% roughly. So if you're just leaving your money in your checking account, it's literally shrinking. You're not aware of it. You look in there, it says $1,000. A week later, it says $1,000, but the value of that $1,000 is actually $817. And then a week later, it might be $814. And that's because the inflation is rising at 3%. So some people use certificate of deposits. Maybe if they're lucky, they can find 5% somewhere. These are kind of really basic tricks. But what you're talking about, because I was listening, I know, how unusual during an interview, but we're in all the major markets, so it's kind of my job. You went from a baseball coach and then really killed it because you were paying attention, you did the research, you did your due diligence, and you were able to make a pile of money. And so now you're helping people understand those simple tricks. And if they follow those, they have a really great potential to success. You went from zero to a lot. How many years did it take for you to really hit that milestone?
Yeah, I mean, I worked my ass off, right? I mean, like a lot of people, it's interesting. Some people think that because you have money, you only come from money, right? I lived on my own at 16 years old. My business partner, Amy, she lived on her own at 16 years old. And so, we've both grinded in order to get there. And what I found were incredible partners. And what I wanted to be able to do is be able to open that partnership up to other people. I wanted to allow people to come in, partner with me on real estate, partner with me on business deals, partner in investing with me, and really, I believe in people being equals, right? And I believe in every man and woman that we're equals, and we have an equal pursuit to freedom, a pursuit to happiness here in America. And so that journey, right, wasn't overnight. I want to say I stopped coaching college baseball at 25 years old. Took me 5 years, I think, where consulting and growing my business, doing my first real estate deals with my partners, really to start, achieving a good income. And then between 30 and 40, I really began to build wealth, right? And so, I would say 15 years, right, is the entire journey, but not everybody needs to get to $250 million in assets, $250 million in a portfolio with my partners, right? And everyday people, right? Whether it's a single mom or it's a guy with autism or just people with challenges out there in America, have been my partners, right? And have come in and we've done this together. And also, there's been wealthy people that have partnered with us too, and it's a great group. But the education is where it starts. You shouldn't do anything that you're rushed to do. You shouldn't do anything you don't have knowledge of, and you have to take the steps. But getting the right knowledge. If you're getting the wrong knowledge, you're just wasting your time.
Well, I appreciate your coming on today on Reboot Your Life, Dutch Mendenhall. You're a husband, a father, an American patriot, a gifted visionary. We've just gotten evidence of that. You're leading by example, and you don't believe in quitting. So this is awesome. And it doesn't depend on anything in life. Whatever you're doing, don't quit. Because passion always wins and belief in yourself always gets you ahead. Dutch turned his strengths from a career coaching baseball toward consulting in the real estate industry, has since become a well-thought-of leader and focuses on helping vets and those in and out of the military, combining the science of advanced analytics with new age artificial intelligence, balancing the field so it is available for all of us. I appreciate your coming on today, my friend.
All right. Thanks for having me, Cary. You're a rock star.
Are you familiar with Riverside Recovery of Tampa? Well, they offer a profound, all-embracing approach to addiction treatment. With a dedicated team of empathetic professionals, Riverside Recovery is committed to guiding individuals on their path to enduring recovery, using a variety of science-backed therapies, counseling, and support services. Riverside Recovery values the individuality of every recovery journey. Their tailored treatment plans respond to the specific needs, the hurdles, the goals of each resident, providing effective aid regardless of whether you're taking your first steps in recovery or maintaining your progress. With Riverside, recovery isn't just achievable, it's an influential journey towards a healthier, brighter future. The testimonials of those who've undergone treatment there are evidence of rediscovered self-worth and potential. Located on the tranquil Hillsborough River of Tampa, Riverside serves as a peaceful haven, promoting self-discovery and healing. They acknowledge that recovery is about more than just overcoming difficulties. It's also about finding your innate strength and resilience. The Riverside Recovery's committed team are your empathetic allies in your recovery journey. They comprehend that genuine healing involves the mind, the body, and the spirit, meticulously dealing with all facets of addiction. You can discover more at rrtampa.com. That's rrtampa.com. Or reach out at 1-800-871-5440. That's 800-871-5440. 800-871-5440 or rrtampa.com.